Hello, welcome everyone. It's the next episode for the Truman Show. And on my right or left side, it's Ray. I think it's a perfect guest who can talk about the relationship. Not only about your experience, but you're also the author of, I think, your new book, right? And I think it'll be very, very nice to hear about this one. But I'm super excited because you really do the Q&A, so you not creating your own thing. Sometimes I saw it, you're creating your the own question, which is super cool. For example, on my side, I'm trying to use the AI to give me the question so I can answer and be creative. But yeah, Ray, happy to meet you today.
Boy, I just got happier to meet you because I didn't think about AI giving me questions.
Ah, it can be
That's
very
pretty. Then I could,
interesting.
it's interesting because yeah, I what happened to me is that in the beginning of the year I got hacked really bad, and it took out everything. It took out all my followers. It took out all the information that I had. I lost everything, and it was an amazing hack, by the way. I
Mm,
was very impressed. I was pissed off, but I was very impressed. But when I started up doing the Hey Ray Q&A, I had nobody to follow me. I was just throwing it out into thin air, and there was nobody listening. So it's been a tough time building it all back up, and I really do want to get people to ask me questions.
yeah.
I've got so much information, and especially the channeled information, it doesn't stop. It's always amazing, how I can answer things, and I answer them, and Mary, I don't even most of the time I don't even know the information myself. It just comes through me.
Hmm.
So it's been fun that way though. But I love answering, and I love talking off the cuff
So,
kind of thing.
what's your story basically? Like it's definitely you pass your journey and it's many things going on, and I'm really glad you are like you are able to, especially now on this time when it's relationship looks quite different, and I think many people miss the times when it was more, I can say, like traditional, which I'm really, really big fan of this one. And
Uh-huh.
now what's happened, in the world, it's quite mess. I'm trying to not to follow the propaganda, because I believe like we create our own version of reality, and we create our own version of the relationship. Doesn't matter what what the media talk to us. What's your like story behind this, and why you keep going to talk about this one?
Well, okay, so I'm a universal channel. I don't know if you caught that, and quite honestly, I don't even know what the hell a universal channel is. To be honest with you, but I get my information. I hear things, I hear voices. I am a child of the '60s, so if that tells you, why I hear voices, maybe it has something to do with it. But I was I got sober in 1984, and I worked in AA, and I had a lot of people that I sponsored, and I really liked helping people out. And I found out that I was pretty good at listening. And I was pretty good at giving people answers. So I liked that. I enjoyed that. I wanted to find something to do. So I became a hypnotherapist, and I learned about it. I was a clinical and sports hypnotherapist. I would be brought in like pre and post operative situations to help people with pain and this type of thing. So it was real stuff, and I really liked it. The voices kept telling me this is not it. This is not it. And as much as I liked doing it, I would still it would be in my mind, something's wrong. This is not it. And I started to realize that I was doing more talking to people during my sessions than I was hypnotizing them. And I realized that when I hypnotized somebody, they would tell everybody that they went to a hypnotherapist, and a hypnotherapist helped them. And I didn't like that. I wanted them to say that They came after the help. They've decided how to do it. They decided so that they could own their changes. And I felt like that was really important, or I was being told that that was very important. So eventually, the hypnosis part of this just sort of slipped away, and I wasn't doing it anymore at all. And it was just a natural progression. So I changed my shingle and I said, I'm a relationship coach. And I was doing relationships for a while, and I was getting the voices again that this wasn't it either. There was something wrong here with relationships, and I kept and I didn't know it, and I wasn't clear about it, but I realized that I started to get upset, and I started to get very impatient. And I was, why am I so impatient about this? I'm trying to help people out. And I realized, and this is not like me, except that it was necessary. I realized that people were asking me how to fix things all the time. That everything was about what they did and how do you fix it and how do you get over it and how do you change all this kind of stuff. And I knew that something was in there. I could tell that inside that message there was another message or there was information. And then one day I started to realize that what was happening is that relationships are all about the differences between people, the divisiveness of a relationship, husband and wife, and that the problem is that no one ever asked how to prevent bad things from happening. No one ever asked me that. And why? Because they're told that relationships are hard. They're told that men don't listen. They're taught that women are crazy, and you can't win a fight or a conversation with a woman. They're told all these things that are not really true. They're true because they don't have enough information telling them that a man has a specific way of looking at things. If he has enough information, he can come up with a clear answer. A woman's not necessarily doesn't want a clear answer, but she wants something that every part of the answer is taken care of. She wants to look at things from 10 different directions. And my cat, sorry, want to be a part of it. So, a woman has superpowers that men don't have. And I started realizing that the problem was that when you walk into a relationship, you bring old baggage with you. One person is a man, one person is a woman. One person might be the husband or the wife or something like that, And that right away, those names divide us. And I realized that in a partnership, which is what I'm all about, I'm teaching people how to become partners. In a partnership, you have to be equals. It changes it right away. It is me and you are partners. Me and you have got this business. Maybe we're going to have a business that's a relationship or something, but we're partners first. And I have got to figure out how best to make you the best partner that I can have. And you would do the same for me. That means that instead of fixing something, we talk about it before. Any issue that comes up, we're going to talk about that issue. We're going to talk about the issue, and we're going to decide together how we're going to handle it, how we're going to treat each other, and then we're going to go ahead and proceed with the issue. We'll take care of it that way.
And you think the prevention supposed to be happen on the time when some relationships start going? Because the point is, like, I heard about the prevention in general, and it's basically very interesting topic in on the side. Prepare for the many things what can happen. Prepare your body, prepare your life, and everything. And now you add to the relationship. So it's really amazing. And so you mean if I, for example, go to the relationship, should I prepare my information, my knowledge, or like everything was possible to prevent some drama happen, or when I have the relationship with the new information from both sides, I should start preparing together, like all the rules, strategy, and different kind of understanding and the conversations.
You're absolutely right with everything that you just said. It's just the timing that's important.
Mm-hmm.
I for the longest time until I made the turn to partnership, I never had anybody come to me that was under 30, 35 in that area. So these are older people that have had experiences, that have had failures, that are looking for some kind of help. They don't know what they're doing. I used to tell people that my job was pulling the gun out of people's mouths because they were like they they were a second away from leaving each other and really having no clue of what to do because they did everything that they know how to do. Once I started to get into the partnership part of it, then everything changed. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to get kids. And like right now, I have a couple that I'm working with right now. She's 20, he's 18. And they're very, very young. So they don't have all this negative experiences. They don't have anything. They're looking at this and they come like their parents do. They come about how to fix everything. But when I tell them, guys, you don't have much to fix yet. Let's put you on a track that you're going to go into this thing with knowledge of how to talk to each other, with knowledge of how to be partners, and then you don't have to hurt each other and end up with all this baggage. They are ready to do it from the beginning, but everything, every bit of it, I don't care how young you are, I don't care how old you are, every bit of it starts at the same place. And it starts at a very selfish place. I want to be happy. And if I want to be happy, what do I have to do to be happy? And I don't care how bad, I get people in that come in and they see me and they practically hate each other. And I say, I don't care. I don't care if you hate each other. What I want you to do first, if we're going to make changes, I want you to say to yourself that you want to be happy. I don't know if I'm going to end up with this person. I don't care if we work out. I don't care about anything. I just want to be happy. And when you can get that inside yourself, then you can add words to I want to be happy. So I want to be happy with you. The second I want to be happy with you, I have a responsibility. Because if I'm going to be happy with you, I got to figure out what am I doing that pisses you off? What am I doing that hurts you? What is it that you need from me so that you'll give me the information back that means it's nice for me? I have an example for you. I've been with my honey now for 28 years. And from the outside, everybody around us would say, oh, he treats her so well and he dotes on her and he's always touching her and he's always kissing her and she's got it all that good. And they would look at it from that standpoint. And I do all those things because she likes it. I've asked her what she needs and that's what I do. I don't assume that I know what she needs. That doesn't bring us together, but I say, how do you like to be treated? And then I do it that way. And she likes it, but I don't do it for her. I do it for me. I want to be happy. And all I have to do is know what my partner needs, give it to my partner, and then she's not a pain in the ass.
Mm. It's like a duty, right?
To yourself, yes. Mm-hmm. You think about this thing. So have you seen my book?
I see your cover.
Yeah. Okay. So the book. Let's see if we could show you people there. All right. See, the part that's crossed out is relationships because we're not talking about relationships, but the most important thing in the thing is healthy selfishness. Healthy selfishness is the guiding force behind all of these changes. If I want to be healthy, if I want to be happy, then I have to figure out what I need to do. And that is with everything. So if I'm going to be in a relationship with my honey and I don't like my work, I'm going to bring that back home. If I don't like the people I'm around, I'm going to bring that back home. So I have a responsibility to treat people well. I have a responsibility to find my happiness in my work because I didn't say I want to be happy at home. I didn't say I want to be happy. I just said I want to be happy. So that means everything. That means I have to treat people well. I have to find out how to treat people well. And I have to find out when to walk away. So I might be in a situation with a complete jerk, and I'm not going to waste my time trying to be happy and trying to, to take care of this jerk and all that stuff. I'm just, I'll try. And then if it doesn't work out, go screw yourself. I'm done, and I'm out of there. When people hear some of this stuff, they think that yeah, you're codependent or so. It's not anything like that. There's a tremendous amount of power in me making decisions about how am I going to deal with you and do I want to deal with you. If I don't want to deal with you, you're gone. If Janet turns around someday and says she doesn't want to be with you, she doesn't love me and everything, okay, then I'll do everything I can to address what the problem is. But if it's not going to be addressed and it's not going to be good, I'll let her go. Because I want to be happy. I want to have a partnership. And I hope that she's my partner. But if she's not going to be a good partner, if she's not going to make me happy, I still want to be happy and I still want a good partnership. Okay? So the other person's got to fit in there and they've got to do their work as well. If I'm going to focus on them, they need to focus on me. Does that make more sense?
Absolutely. And my first question is because it's something what I think many people, trying to handle right now, and it's also connect with the responsibility as a man. And I think it's something what it's, trying be on this present world, like putting on the shadow. Like the men do not have that responsibility, and I know many people even talk about the toxic masculinity, which I think on some part it's very healthy because I think we are lack of duty on this time, and like you said, looking at the strategy and the concept, being happy, having work what makes you happy, having the friends what makes you happy, and I think it's necessary right now. It's not even the choice. So what do you think about about this part? Like the man should take care more about this part than even a woman. I know it's the equal things, but if you have the information right now, if I have the information and we spread with the other men, right? And I think we should take the steps, right, to start the conversation if we are able to have the information what you're sharing right now. I think audience can be mixed, but I think right now we can share to some men who are listening to us.
I think men need to understand something that this offers them a completion inside a partnership or with somebody else, with somebody that helps them be more of a man. In other words, partnership is first. And if me and you are partners, then you just happen to be a guy and I just happen to be a guy, but we're partners first. In a relationship, if I'm in a relationship with a woman, then she's a partner first and then she's a woman, and I'm a partner first and then I happen to be a man, which means that we talk about the responsibilities that a man is better at. Not that a man has got it's laid on him because he may not be better at different things than a woman might be or that another person might be. So we talk about this ahead of time when we say, okay, so you're going to be the man And that means that you're really good at making decisions. You're really good at bringing in money. You're really good at protecting the family. You're really good at all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I am. I'm really good. Good. So how do I help you do that? As a partner, how do I have your back there? There's a lot of women that have come to me over the years now, and they say, well, you know something? I like being a mother. I like staying home with the kids. I said, yeah, you do, and I'm not trying to take that away from you. What I'm trying to do is say, if you're going to stay at home, how do I help you do that so that you feel valued, you feel like that I understand what you're doing and that I have your back. You're not being home and doing all this stuff and cleaning and taking care of and feeling taken advantage of. Because if I let you do that, if I don't appreciate who you are, then you're going to be upset about it. Then you're going to think, I don't care about you, and you're going to think that I'm out and doing all this stuff that I'm doing, and here you are, you're home taking care of the kids and washing the clothes. And even though you wanted to do that, you get resentful because I don't respect it. Okay? So the same thing with the men is that men are taught that we're not supposed to have our feelings. We have feelings. We just shut them down. We don't let the feelings out because we're men. And it's silly because we have them. And if you have somebody that gives you a safe place to share it, you become more of a whole human being. You know, those feelings are great. They're very important. But if you're scared to bring them out, they're not going to do you any good. So two people decide, think about this in a way of a business. Two people decide to come together and they're going to open up a business. And one person is good at sales and the other person is good at social media or accounting or something. That's why we're together. We're together because one person shouldn't have to do it all. It's difficult for one person to do it all. And if two people are there and they bring different things to the partnership, to this business that we're doing, all we have to do is check on them once in a while. We got to come and say, hey, you had some problems with some orders the other day. How you feeling about it? Don't worry, everything is okay with us. Talking and making sure that you change your focus to the other person because you have the ability that the other person doesn't have. You have the ability to listen to them, and they have the ability to listen to you. And if you listen to each other, intently listen to each other, you can find out what's going on and what is it that you need to do to make the partnership healthy.
I think right now we are lack of the partnership in general. Like we do not have even one person who can listen us, like you said. And I think it's like if I even put on my goal and my mission, what I want to share with others is to basically find the partner. And I think it's having someone who can listen our whatever we have inside the heart. And because we mostly they put the mask, so we don't know each other. In general, people don't know each other because they trying to pretend someone who are not, and they trying to create a different reality using the fake information, fake story and everything. So I'm big fan for the partnership, and I'm big fan of the fighting for this, and then really trying hard. Because if it starts from the partnership, I you I do not talk about the relationship, like a woman and man, but even partnership, even having other men, when we can say whatever we feel, it's
Yeah,
it's a healing, it's a miracle. It's basically the reason why we live on this earth. And like,
sure.
yeah, and I like you said, the having the open partnership and then make the rules, and keep this as a gift, and still trying to be better on this. I think it's the like my number one things what is important in life, to be honest.
I think that the internet has had a tremendous effect on us as people. And I think that it's showing us the disparity that we were brought up with. Our parents, our grandparents, it was easy for them to be a husband and wife, and he made the money and she took care of the kids and all this kind of stuff, and they weren't really thinking about things because they were taught how to tolerate each other. They were taught not necessarily to get close, although some of them were. They were taught mostly how to tolerate each other and how to put things on the side because you had to make it work somehow. So if you kept digging at each other, it wasn't going to work. As we got smarter, as we got more open to things and open to changes, and I started to recognize, and I think a lot of this has to do with women in general, is recognizing that their plight, so to speak, that they wanted really good things, and for some one reason or another, they were unable to attain it. Somebody was keeping them down, or somebody was telling them about women. I can't tell you how many times that I talk with women, and women think women are crazy. And I don't think that women are crazy. I think that women, there's so much that they bring to the table that is misunderstood. If we understand those things, then we benefit from them. And I think that the internet is bringing that out. And I think that on a large scale, people they're scared right now. Because if you listen to anything out there that talks about the rate of failure in relationships, I've heard things like 70-80% of relationships fail in the first year. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if it was. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Everybody that comes to me says, "Well, this is my partner. This is my partner." I said, "Well, I wouldn't want to be partners with you because you don't know how to be partners. You just say the word partner, but you don't have a clue of what a partner does and what the responsibilities are." How close we can be as a result of this need that we have as human beings. Human beings we're frustrated with each other. We don't know how to talk to each other. We don't know what's going on. It's a mess. But everyone is wants to be close. Everybody wants to feel loved and wants to feel important in the world or have a place in the world. And partnership does that. I think universally we're just ready for it. Whether it takes off or whether people believe it, I think it's going to take a while. My honey keeps saying to me, "How long is it going to take?" And I'm like, a couple thousand years maybe. I don't know. We didn't get this way overnight. It took a long time for us to be this selfish and to recognize the ignorance that we were raised with. And I say that in a loving way. I don't think that any of our parents ever woke up in the morning and said, "I wonder how I can screw Johnny up today. How can I give them really bad information so that they'll be miserable for the rest of their life?" I don't think that anybody ever said that,
Hmm.
but you wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
you know, you would just like, why did they just told me what they were told,
Hmm.
and it doesn't work. And now we're finding out that a lot of the stuff that they told us does not work,
Hmm.
not anymore.
Not anymore,
So,
yes. So it's updated
yeah,
also, like it need to be updated. And I think, even technology, like you mentioned, like we need to update, constantly update. It's, we change, the technology change and the structure. We live on the, totally different place when we live, 10, 15 years ago. So we need to update, definitely.
yeah, I think you're really right, and it's interesting because I mean we can go on to Google or my son. What was that? Oh, you told me today about the AI stuff, and all that stuff is available to us now. And I think that's really important for us to question everything. You may find out that some of the things that you were told are really good. It's not all bad, but the bad thing is that you don't know if it's good or bad.
Hmm.
You just accepted it. You just went, oh, okay, we're going to do this, and so that's what we do. But that may not work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I'm talking to people in relationships, one of the first things I tell them is assume that everything that you've been taught about your relationship is wrong. Assume it. It may not be, but it's easier just to say everything is wrong, so let's start again. Let's
Mm.
start from scratch. How are we going to do this together? What do we do? You know? And people seem to be relieved. That one and the other one that I get a kick out of, because there's usually one person that gets really pissed off about this one, but I tell them that nobody is wrong. Nobody in this, right up to this point here, you guys did what you thought was right. And nobody is really wrong here. So what we got to do is we got to say, if you didn't know, if you knew any better, if you knew how to have a good relationship, if you knew how to love each other, and this is where you ended up, then you're at fault. But if you didn't know, then you didn't know.
Yeah.
So okay, we're going to learn. We're going to teach you how to play nice with each other. We're going to teach you how to focus on one another and not look on the outside for for something, some kind of satisfaction when you're just afraid of talking about it and getting it within your partnership. A big thing a bunch of years ago, I because of this information that I get, sometimes I get things in series. I'll get like 3 or 4 of a particular subject or something, and it helps enlighten me to what it is that I'm doing. And I told my honey one time, I said, I would say 65-70% of everybody I'm dealing with right now is dealing with some kind of an infidelity, a mental, a spiritual, a physical infidelity. There's always this thing. And infidelity in our society is probably the number one, you know, you screw around on me, we're done. We're done. And then they still end up looking for help. So they're not really done. They're still trying to figure it out. And I say the same kind of thing, that if you guys knew how to protect each other, and if you knew how to protect a partnership, there's not going to be that kind of infidelity, because that infidelity comes as a result of needs not being met. We always point to the person. We always go to the person who got cheated on. We always, connect with the person that was cheated on. We take care of them. We give them information. We tell them how wonderful they are and how terrible this other person is. But we never look at the person who cheated. We never look at them and say, what were they missing? How long did they suffer? How alone must they have been in order? What needs did they have that ended up causing them to cheat? How afraid were they to go to their partner and say, this is what I need? This is what's missing here. And mostly those questions and those answers are hidden within each other. And we don't even ask those questions because we don't know how. It's scary. What do you really need?
Hmm.
It's scary. So that's those are the kinds of things that I found very interesting in developing this whole attitude about partnership. I just think that I okay. Yeah, I'm trying to I'm trying to own this, okay? And I really don't know where I stand with the whole thing. I
Hmm.
don't know why I have this information. I don't know. I've never read a word of it. I've never heard anybody talk about partnership the way I talk about partnership. I keep trying to say that, it's from the universe and all this kind of stuff, and I don't know. Is it really me that's coming out with this thing? Am I some kind of wizard? Probably not. More than likely, I'm not. More than likely, I'm just some kind of vessel that this information is coming through. Somebody had to do it, so I guess what the hell?
but
I'm
but
not doing anything.
but at the same time you live with your own concept, right? Your partnership, it's base
Yeah,
of the things what you sharing with me right now. True.
yeah. Yeah, it is. It is, but it is an after fact. It is the information comes and then it's applied. It's like I'm not learning this necessarily from the
Hmm.
relationship, but it does benefit the relationship. Yeah.
Because
I've
it's
got a great, yeah.
because
I really
it's
do have a great woman. Yeah.
it can be from, yeah, from many different sources, and you have a different kind of people, and I think it's very hard to fit, on the own things. We can have some base, about, exactly what you said about the partnership, which I think it's a base of everything. And when you mentioned before about the also like one joke, I also like remember my ex girlfriend asked me like, how long could we be together, and she said, I said, "No, I don't know." It's like, so you think we'll be not forever? It's like, I think I don't know what will happen tomorrow. I cannot promise you like we'll be together forever, because tomorrow we don't know the tomorrow, right? So
Yeah.
saying like I will be with you forever, it's a lie. But you expect from me saying like something would it's would not exist. But I want to be based of the reality, like, because like you said, a couple of thousand years. Yeah, on this version of this understanding, I'm totally agree, because we don't know, and basically other side of, if we go that deep, I believe there's a multi verse of option and possibilities what we exist right now the same moment. So whatever we choose, we can still live together on the different reality, uh,
Uh-huh.
and it's my concept. That's why I think in the choice what we do right now, it's always good choice, because it's what we know, what we do, and where we can go. Because if we know the different information, we'll be choosing the different information. But the problem provide us to hear, to get something new, and make maybe better choice after. But it's not mean that was wrong. It was just good enough to make some decision, right? But not good enough maybe to make the right decision. But I think everything happened for a reason, right? And we should learn from the problems. We should learn from the mistakes. And definitely it's a must right now. It's necessary to learn something, because people used to come back to the same things, to the same relationship, going like a loop from the one to another. And it's mostly, I think, it's to cover on like a emptiness. That's why I think many people choose relationship,
Yeah.
just to not feel empty. But it's not mean like they express self. It's and the partnership, it's more like, hey, I'm nobody, and you need to fill me up with your love. That's why the imbalance can create on the relationship. What do you think about this part, when people come without nothing to give, and they expect partnership, but basically they expect everything from the another person, but nothing from themselves.
Well, I think if the other person is a person that can give them the kind of partnership that they need, if they're aware of it, they probably would step away from the situation and make sure that it was healthy to begin with. Um, Something happens in partnerships that doesn't happen in relationships. I wish there was a way for people to be able to experience partnership without catching the feels for each other, but I don't think that that's really possible, or I haven't figured out a way. When we meet, up until a point when you meet somebody, you're looking at them and you're attracted, and then you talk, and then things are funny, and you might have good sex, and you might have all this kind of stuff, and then you say, okay, so we love each other, and now we're going to be together forever. A tremendous amount of pressure for two people who it come together on such flimsy footing. Inside a partnership, what happens is that if I meet somebody, the same thing happens. I don't want to waste my time trying to find out about partnership in the beginning, but I want to see that we're compatible and, we're attracted to each other and we sort of really like each other. And do you really think that I could be somebody that you would want to be with? Yeah, I mean, I think that way about you. I like seeing you. I like spending my time with you, all this stuff. So once we get to a point where we want to take this to another serious level, though, we would say, all right, so we know that we care about each other and we may even love each other a little bit. Let's forget about that. Let's take that off the table. And because we know that already. So now what do we have to do is we have to develop the partnership part of this, the area of how we're going to talk to each other. What are we going to do in different situations? What kind of negativity are we going to bring to this partnership that we can use? People have an idea that negative stuff is bad. It's bad. It's not bad. It's not a negative information. Bad experiences are extremely good and they're extremely necessary. And if you don't think of them as bad, then you can think of them as good, as positive stuff. What happened to you in the past? You were cheated on? Okay, so how are you feeling about that? What's going on with you right now? What walls are you going to bring up? And how do we approach those walls so that me and you can address your fears? Me and you can address your insecurities. We're going to figure this kind of stuff out. And then when a situation comes up, we already know we love each other. We've got that up here. We already know that we want it to work. We have that up here. So when something bad happens, we say, you were really hurt this time. Okay, so we know you're hurt, but if you're going to yell and scream about being hurt, you're going to stop the process of us figuring out what to do about it. What did we do? How can I help you out? How can I change my behavior? What led up to this kind of stuff? I don't tell people to not feel their feelings. I say, absolutely feel your feelings. And when you're ready, then we're going to go, okay, so I'm really sorry that you got hurt, but now let's do what we need to do so we can fix the partnership. We want to protect the partnership. And so it's all like I see this stuff all the time, Mario. I because the divisions and the voices and all that stuff. I always see like a boardroom, with a big table in there, and you know how like sometimes people will walk in and they'll say they take their cell phones out and they put it in a basket, so that they don't you don't have this cell phone. So I tell them to take their feelings, the anger that they had, and put it in the basket, because now we know that the reason that we're in the room is because you got hurt. We know that. So we're going to say we're going to honor the hurt and say, okay, set the hurt aside. And then we're going to say, okay, so now we're in the room together. What are we going to do about the hurt? How do I fix this? What happened? I didn't intend to hurt you and you got hurt, so I must have done something, and the other person says, well, you're not the kind of person that would generally want to hurt me. So what place were you in at the time? Did I do something that caused you to hurt me? And we figure all that kind of stuff out. Very, very, logistically, what happened here, and then we come together and we make decisions about this kind of stuff, and then we go back to loving each other. If you come into a boardroom and in a multi-million-dollar corporation and you're yelling and screaming and throwing chairs, nothing gets done. Nothing gets done. But if you say, we need to really need to talk about this. Okay. Then we can talk about it.
But even what you said about the putting phones as a metaphor and motions, I believe it's even not metaphor, because sometimes the phone and the disconnection with
Yeah.
ourselves using the technology, which sometimes it's more disturbing than helping, because it's depends how we use it. But I think it's can be sometimes the point, because we're trying to stay online, we're trying to be busy and everything, we escaping from the dopamine effect using the phones and everything. So sometimes putting the phone, it's the same like they take out the emotion, because sometimes the phone, it's the connect with our emotion as well.
Okay. From I agree with you, but from a standpoint where my information comes from, we could cut out the use of phones. We could say that phones in these areas are very bad, but the phones have spent such a small amount of time connected to the human condition that I would be afraid that if we took some of that out, there's some things there that we need to learn from it first. I don't want to take away, if somebody says, you know, you didn't call and you're not calling me and you don't call me, you don't love me, all this kind of stuff. And then you just start to call, right? So now it looks like we fixed it because now you're calling. But if there's an emotion that was brought up by not calling, so if a person doesn't call, I'll try to be clear about this because it's a little weird. So if I don't call you and you get upset about it, okay, then and then I call you, and now you're not upset about it. I triggered something inside of you that made you upset. I triggered an insecurity in there. You wondered why I didn't call. You wondered if you're worth it. You wondered if you're, in a good relationship. You wonder if I'm being truthful to you or whatever it is. And when I call, then I stop that thought. Those insecurities are still there. They're not there because of a missed phone call. They're there because you're a human being and you have those insecurities. So we could say, here we go. We've got insecurities to deal with. If we get a little time goes by and we come back and say, hey, listen, Mario, I know that something happened a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed that you got insecure about this. Let me tell you what you mean to me. Let me tell you how I care about you and how I appreciate you being in my life. That will have an effect on the insecurity, the blanket insecurity that everybody has, that now you feel like you're cared for, you feel like you were listened to and that somebody cared about you, whatever it is. But it can't be done next to with because I didn't call. If I call or if I don't call, that doesn't make any difference. What
Hmm.
what happened is when I didn't call, how did it affect you?
So it's also about expressing themselves, and you really talk about what we need. That's the foundation of this, like like to tell
Sure.
like what we want, and like don't be shy about this one, to not get hurt each other, because sometimes like we try to like don't hurt anybody. That's why like people lie, because they think in the the truth can hurt. So that's why they're creating the story, which is lie anyway. Of course we can say it's like it's not true, but basically it's lie. Can be for people can be much better, but we know end of the day, the true always go on the front. And like they say, like the true have short legs, right? So and sooner or later we it will appear. And like for me it's obvious, like be honest and say the truth. I know it sometimes hurts, but it's a test to know who you really are, I think, right now.
So inside a partnership, there's different levels of this kind of understanding that's important in a partnership. So if you're dealing in a partnership, you already know that telling the truth or not telling the truth is going to have an effect on the whole. It's going to have an effect on the partner, on the business of our partnership. You will already know that your partner is saying, listen, if there's something that comes down here and the truth is going to be upset, upset us, if the truth is going to be difficult to hear, we already know how we're going to act when that truth comes out. We already know that we're going to work together. We're going to talk to each other about this thing. We're going to come to some conclusion. We're going to come to some kind of steps that we can take. So don't hold back that because you're holding it back because you think it's going to hurt us and that's the end. Don't hold back because it is going to hurt us, but then we're going to get closer and we're going to be able to talk to each other. And then we're going to be able to figure out what to do. And then we're going to look at each other and go, you really want to do this because you want to talk to me because you don't care if you get hurt. You care that you don't get hurt because if you get hurt, then we get something to talk about and we get something to work together with. So negativity is always an opportunity. Issues are always never the problem. Issues always point to a problem. And so we need to look at this stuff and go, yes, that really hurt, but if it really hurt, do you want to talk about this? And you do, then why do you want to talk about this? Tell me why you want to talk about hurting me and what happened here. Because if you tell me the right things, then I don't mind you hurting me, because it might be valuable. And so coming back to that thing about the infidelity, one of the things that I tell people is that if you learn how to treat each other in a good partnership, one day you're going to look at each other and you're going to say, you know something? We would never be this close if you hadn't cheated. We couldn't possibly be this close because we had to fight to come together. We had to fight to understand what went on. We had to fight for us. And if that didn't happen, we wouldn't be this close. And I joke around and I say, one thing that would be good for me is when people sign up for a session, I ask them, have you guys cheated on each other? You haven't? Go cheat on each other and then give me a call in the morning.
Oh, I think you should put this like a first point. I accept only the one who cheat. If you if you cheat, you get 50% discount.
Yeah, right. You're really not. You really don't have any problems until you cheat on each other. Then we got something to work on. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. How did you get into this? How did you do this? What started?
About the cheating?
No, I don't want to tell.
You mean the podcast? The podcast?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a nice podcast.
Oh, it's my story. It's very interesting, to be honest. Like, basically, I was inside the porn business, and then I realized, like my whole journey. I was also coach. I was personal coach, life coach on mostly focusing on the mind success, all the things connect with the strategy, NLP, and then I was a shaman, connect with the ayahuasca, helping people using different kind of psychedelics and also breath work and different kind of meditation. And then I go into marketing and I realize that people who have some passion, basically they don't know how to promote themselves because like if you love what you do but you don't know how to get the money from this, you'll be miserable. And basically we'll be looking on the weekend session with the LSD, ayahuasca, mushroom and everything, or basically going to the bar to have fun because you want to forget from the Monday, Friday, so you're looking for escape. And then I realized I want to help people who have some passion. But I was addicted of the sex. I was addicted for the pornography, and lucky or not lucky, but I think it's a gift for me with my background. I was into a porn industry, and then I realized how everything looks like, and I also realized what's how big this problem right now with the people who trying to avoid relationship, avoid partnership, and they're looking for the substitute, which then give them fake dopamine using the porn. And then I become inside this game and also realize it's not about the porn, it's about the concept of creating the fake environment. And I also realized that many people, don't create any partnership, any relationship. And
Yeah.
you talk with the people who have some problems, but most of the people, they are not able, they don't have any problem because they don't create any partnership. So but
Yeah.
there's other problem, means like, yes, partnership is the problem, but the partnership is the most beautiful things on the world. When you, without this one, you basically will be miserable. And I don't see any other way, because even if you're introvertic always have the people, like a best friend close to each other. Maybe they don't have friends, but they have a one weird guy on the school. They have a one friend what they talk. And so it means like everyone need to have someone. And I'm big believer right now, and I want to spread my message as well. And I think it's a gift with my background, whatever I experience. And I think not many people understand how the business works. And I'm also quite like frustrated what's happening in the world, but at the same time, I think I should be on this world to create a more, understanding and new version of the reality, because we know it sucks. But I think it's no need to talk about this one. It's better to use the social media like what you do. I'm very basically inspired. Also about your age, because I realize, yeah, everything on the front of me. I see this, the potential as my experience. So I know, I have a time, and I think it's, like it's a gift for me as well. So I'm very glad to connect with
Thanks.
you, because I see myself as someone who got something from the universe, however you call this. And somehow, being on the porn industry, like I think it's a you know it's gave me like really the background, when people can realize, like, I know what I'm talking about. I know your addiction, it's something what I experienced. And even my
Yeah.
escaping using the porn business, it's the same things. And I realized that now we are attacked from the porn everywhere, not only on the porn, but only on the social media, Instagram, Facebook, TV, and everything, which is too much. And even for me, it's very hard to handle. And even if I
Yeah.
understand, it's very hard to handle. So I want to talk about this one, and I want to definitely, things what you share. It's about partnership, especially about partnership. And I think it's a healthy partnership. It's a healthy relationship as well, because if you have someone, when you express yourself, then you can talk whatever you want, and you be who you really are. The relationships, it's the next stage. If you healthy with yourself,
Yeah.
you don't cover your bullshit and everything. The partners, it will be much more healthier.
My son and his wife were in porn for several years, quite a few years, and so I really got a good chance, to see, how that all worked. They're not together anymore, but it didn't have anything. It had more to do with alcohol than with porn. But I realized that something about the realness of people in the porn industry is that sex to normal people, to regular people, to people that were not in the industry, that plays a huge part in their thinking and in the way that they operate and stuff. And that sort of gets taken off the table in the porn industry. And people get to be a different kind of very real, because they don't have to deal with, the sex part of this, and do you like me, and all this kind of stuff. It was very interesting to be the father of somebody in porn, and to be able to help out, to be connected with that. It was a very nice time. And I did get to talk with a couple of the girls that were in there, and help out that way too. And so that's cool. Yeah. Um, yeah.
I think
My
it's
son is in.
Yeah. So sorry, continue.
No, no, I was just saying my son is in Berlin right now, and
Hmm.
he's living there and doing video stuff, and not with the
Hmm.
porn, but he's doing he's going pretty soon. He's going to do some filming at the Collider, with some people. It's an
Nice.
interesting life. It's
Yes.
good for him. What were you going to
Oh,
ask?
So basically, I have many people now in the film industry. Also, my business partner work with me on the podcast as well. So it's a really connect things. Like like I meet more people on this industry. But what I want to also say, connect with the porn. It's not only about the production, also about the people who watch, and it's also like the crazy things about the OnlyFans and everything, which I was also part. And also, like I see this as a big function reality with. I think it's the direction. It's not not great, but like I don't try to be negative. I just try to show people like how it looks like. If 500 million people watching something that is not real, talking with someone who's like even AI and everything, it's create a false reality, right? And I think it's
Yeah.
if we longer we spend time there, if we were not able to meet someone and talk about, like you said, about partnership, the creating this kind of skills, which I think it's super important, because it's connect with everything later. Connect with your family, connect with your like business partner, connect with your, of course, with your husband, wife and everything, and boyfriend, girlfriend. And it's a crucial right now. We need to have the skills to even fail. We need to have the skills to stand up, not give up, to trying again, to looking to fix, to try it multiple times, multiple level. But if we talking with someone who we pay $5-10 and tell us everything what we need to hear, someone who is not real, then it's will be very hard later in life to have the social skills on many different levels. That's what I'm quite advocate about this one, because I see this every day. Like like people don't want to talk, people don't want to try it, people don't want to stand up from the
Yeah.
laptop, on the phone, and everything, and try it. Of course there will be fail, like it's obvious, like it must fail, the beginning, like I
Yeah.
don't wish anybody like fail, have a problems like me. But I think there's no other way, we cannot learn other way, you know and I think it's many things what you share about the partnership. It's a trying, testing, and do it again.
Mhm. Yeah, and one of the areas that I find that has some of the biggest issues right now are young men. Young men. There's so many ways for young men to hide on the internet and playing games and looking at porn and all this stuff. And they see that the power that young women are coming out with, and they deserve it. They just don't know how to use it. And that's there's a big divide right now in young people. It's nice when they get together, but prior to getting together, it's rough. I would not
Mm,
want to be 16 or 17 years old today.
yeah.
Uh, I think it'd be very difficult.
What you can tell me about the toxic relationship, about the way it's basically just it's quite real question, because I got some message today, and like whatever direction, and even from the boy or girl happen toxic relationship, how to get out from this. And like if we know it's got too far and it's destroy like one of each other.
It's it's very difficult. I feel a lot for people in toxic relationships because there's ways about themselves that are keeping them trapped, and that's hard to be able to stand up. I don't know what it takes. Is looking for help and getting somebody that you trust, or just waiting for the bottom to fall out somehow, that you're able to move on. I think that each one of them probably has got a lesson to learn, that it's important to learn before you go, because if you don't, you'll end up repeating it. I think that I had somebody recently, and this is not a kid. These are older people that was in a very toxic relationship, and and it took some bad moments to get them out of it, and now that they're out there, like, wow, they're spinning. It's just like, how did I do this? I'm an adult. I'm a grown man. How could I let this happen?
Mhm.
And they were working. I was working with them for a period of time and saying, "You guys suck. You guys are really don't treat each other well. You better figure out why you're letting this happen so it doesn't happen again." And I wanted them. There was a part of me that wanted them desperately to never talk to each other again, and then there was a part of me that said they have to. They really have to. They have to do this. They have to go through these steps. They have to go walk it all the way to the end, or else they're going to do it again. You know. So I don't know. I don't know. Toxicity is horrible, but if you learn a tremendous amount from it, if you survive it, then maybe it was okay.
Mhm.
Maybe
Mhm.
that's what you needed to do.
Mhm.
Because we get into relationships, and especially in relationships, and that's all that there are right now. There are very few partnerships. We get into relationships for a lot of the wrong reasons, and then we're in, and then we're stuck, and then we're thinking more about the other person's feelings, a person that's beating us up, and being terribly negative, and just abusive. And here we are, we're being abused, and we're afraid to say, get out of my life, because you don't want to hurt their feelings.
Mhm.
There's learning about, you got to take care of yourself, but you got to believe that you can, and you got to believe that you're worth it. So often people they get one message at a particularly bad time. A young girl might be growing up, 12 years old, 10 or 12 years old, and mother's pissed off at some time, or her father is upset, and they say, like, nobody's ever going to want you. Look at you. And at that stage, they will carry that, and it's wrong, and it's a bad message, but it fits with how they feel about themselves, and they'll carry that message around for their whole life, and until somebody somewhere comes along and says that was them, it wasn't you.
Mhm.
You're fine, you're perfect. You know.
But it's also
So
necessary, right? I think it's the part of the journey, right? When we need to pass some shit things, moments, and everything, and have this person who like rise, energy up and believe on us.
yeah,
I think it's like I don't see and I don't hear any other version of this one because I realize like the failing and the problems is the part of our journey, and no matter what,
yeah,
we cannot avoid this. I mean, if we avoid you, we basically sooner or later we didn't learn much because we're trying to not get any risk, any chance and everything, but it's the same, it's the same coin, just the different side.
yeah. And people need assurance. Excuse me. People need assurance that this will change too. They need
Mhm.
assurance that they're going to go through this. They're going to be a part of it. It's going to hurt like crazy. They're going to feel terrible about it. And then and but look to learn what you're supposed to learn. And we're not taught that. We're taught about, things are just terrible, and they're going to be negative, and all we can do is hope that the negativity goes away. We hope that one day we're going to wake up, and we're not going to feel bad about ourselves, and we're not going to do all this kind of stuff. And that's terrible. That's terrible information. Learn about this stuff. Yeah, I feel like hell right now, but what is it that I'm supposed to learn from this? What happened before that put me in this position?
Mhm.
How can I change this position to be better tomorrow? This type of thing. If you don't know how to think like that, then you're not going to think like that.
Mhm.
You're going to remain in that place. And maybe that place is happening for a long period of time so that you do think about something. I get people all the time. They say, "Well, it's the same thing over and over and over again." Well, the reason it's happening over and over and over again is because you haven't learned what you need to learn.
Hmm.
If you learn it, then it'll stop.
Yep.
You know, you'll get it, and then you can go, "Oh, okay," or and there are things that do resolve themselves, but then it's a missed opportunity. If you don't delve into issues, and if you don't delve into your feelings and how negative stuff is happening, if you don't do that and you were supposed to learn something, don't worry about it because it'll happen again.
Yeah.
That's what people do in relationships. They yell and they scream at each other and they're upset and they throw things and and then it calms down and they say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and "You're sorry," and "We're sorry," and then some dumbass says, "Oh, don't worry, it'll never happen again." And nobody ever thinks to say, "Okay, what will happen?" You're telling me this is not going to happen again, but you're not telling me why. You're not
Hmm.
telling me why you want to change it. You're not telling me how it's going to
Hmm.
change. You're just saying it'll never happen again, and that's bullshit. It's going to happen again
Hmm.
until we come up with a different way of doing it.
Hmm.
Then it has to change. Even then, it's hard for that new thing to happen right away. But if you stick to it, if you stick to, well, we didn't do too well that time. Next time that we start yelling to, if I'm abusive, if I am yelling at my partner, and somebody comes along and says, "Do you like yelling at your partner?" And you say, "No, I hate when I yell at my partner. I hate that. Can't stand that." And I say, "Okay, so how about this? How about next time that you start to yell, we remind you that you said you didn't want to yell. We don't stand there and say, you said that you weren't going to yell anymore and you're going to fix that," because that doesn't work. But if we say, "Hey, hang on a second, before you say another word, tell me how what it is that you're going to say is going to help us. You tell me that, and then you tell me if you're going to hurt me, you tell me how that's going to help us. And if it's not going to help us, then I'm not going to be a part of it. Tell me you love me, and I'll let you yell at me if you want to. I'm not going to like it, but at least I know that you love me. And if you love me, then maybe someday, we won't do this kind of thing. But I need to know what's going on here and what it is that we're trying to change." Now, if you said to somebody, if you came to me and you said, "Hey, Ray, listen, you told me to remind you that you didn't like being abusive, that you didn't like yelling at me." I said, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you that you asked me to remind you that you don't like doing this. If you say it like that, then I might say, "Yeah, you're right. I don't want to yell." But if you tell me, "Yeah, you said that you weren't going to yell anymore," I'm going to tell you to go screw yourself. If you attack me while I'm angry, while I'm upset, it ain't going to go anywhere. So that's and there's so much more to that. That's a big thing, a big lesson with changing abusive situations. It takes a lot of understanding on both parts. One person has got to toughen themselves so while we're trying to fix an issue, that they don't get all butthurt about the issue. They
Hmm.
can go, "Yeah, I'm hurt, but I got to get in there and fix the relationship and fix the partnership." So there's a big thing behind that. It's not that
Hmm.
easy.
For me, it was also try to fix, the situation on the same day. I think it's when I think right now, it can be both things. Like not one, it's my understanding what I believe, but the second, I think it's also my ego, which I'm thinking also why I push this just to fix, because I wanna hurry, I wanna do it right now. I have a reason for this, but and when I listen to you, and I think it's not the best version of this one, because I believe, like, if we go sleep with the problem, with the issue, like, our consciousness don't looking a solution, basically it's going too deeper with our, tension, our stress level, our, like the cortisol and everything. So And I think it's not good idea. But at the same time, if we try to rush and push and then not allow ourselves maybe to put like more relaxing things when you go sleep, and then we go with our emotion to the next day, maybe it can be better version of this, because I try just to push, solve right, solve now, solve now, solve now. But of course,
Yeah.
women in general, they want to relax, they want to talk tomorrow and everything, which I always push. But then when I listen to you, I think the solution can be not the only one what I thought.
Yeah. Well, but you see, the thing is that the way that we act is because we acted it one time and it sort of worked, and then we tried it again and it sort of worked. It wasn't really good, but maybe it shut the argument down or some. So we act those kinds of ways without realizing whether it's good or not for us to do. The same thing applies inside a partnership. If we're partners and we say, okay, hang on a second, before we yell and scream at each other, let's take a breath here and let's try and focus on fixing what it is. And so we do that, and it comes out okay. It's a nice thing to do. We're more likely to try to do that later. The next time it happens, you remember that you didn't have to go, from 0 to 1,000. You could just go, 0 and go, hey, what are we supposed to do? And that there's other ways of doing that. And if it works a second time, and then if it works a third time, then when something bad happens, you know that you guys have a better way of dealing with it. So all of a sudden you're like, hey, okay, so wait a minute, we're really upset and we're really pissed off. What are we supposed to do now? We're supposed to relax and everything. I know that you need time to process this thing. Are you okay? Do you? The reason I'm going to focus on you is because you said you wanted to be a partner. So I'm going to go, oh, okay. So, Mario needs time, or Mario's the kind of person that wants to get it done right away. So if I say, Mario, hang on a second, I really need to get something out, and then we're going to take care of this. We're absolutely going to fix this. I'm not quite ready to fix this with you, and I know that you like to get things done, and I honor that. And I know that you want to get it done because you want to fix it, but it ain't going to get fixed right now. And if I know to say something like that to you, and you know that the reason I'm telling you that is because I care about you and because I want to have a good partnership with you, you're more likely to go, okay, all right, I know everything's going to be fine. And then I would back off. But that takes experience too. It's not just a thing of like knowing that you're going to do it and it works. It takes time. We became like this. I mean, it took me 74 years to get to today. you know so I do the best I can today.
I have one more question, basically maybe even more,
Sure.
but it's something
Yeah.
what it's perfect. I think fit to our conversation, because like special on this moment when many people are connected with the self confidence, connect with the sexuality, and on from the both side, and like I remember when I was younger, like being someone's, how many girls you fuck, and it makes you superhero, alpha male, and everything, which is it was more about game, on the school, whatever, like a really immature things. But at the same time, we live on the society when it's still even on my side, if I look on my experience and my story and everything, it's like it's absolutely not connect with me, because I pass so many things. So I know that sexuality, it's not connect with the self-confidence, but it's maybe also because of my experience, so I don't need to prove this. And I sometimes I wish to everyone to experience some kind of, just to trying, testing and everything, so they realize this, like the size, the sexuality, or even the sex, which is crazy, like like they're not real, because what we watch, even though the porn, it's not what even must exist on the relationship, and what we call the
Sure.
pleasure on the orgasm and everything. And I think it's many misunderstanding, and it's also from both sides, because the woman expects something what is not natural, what it's, what's
Mhm.
happened on the movie. Like, I know many people who take all the, kinds of possible, the Viagra, Camagra, even the injection things, because they need to perform, because it's the work. And it's
Sure.
create a they create a fake understanding what the sexuality means, and what sex means, and what's mean the, being a, man of the bed or the relationship, which is really like, it's quite big. So sorry for, like, open the question, but I think it's a something what many people cannot handle. That's why they go to the porn, because it's easier for them, to satisfy self, and they, get the dopamine level. But it's sad story anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. It's going to be one of those things that everybody is going to take on that kind of situation together, and as with a partner, and to talk about this stuff. To recognize who looks at porn and thinks that is the reality, and that's really the way that people have sex together, and the way that they get close. Um, it's probably important for people to say to see that stuff if they want to, and because of the stimulation that you get, and because it turns people on, and maybe sometimes porn gets people into a place where they it puts their insecurities, it brings it to the surface, but it also sets them aside. Now I don't give a shit about anything. I just want to have sex, so that they can perform like that. But the communication about what is it that you need, what is it that really makes you feel good, and truthfully, how do you want me to make love to you? How do you want me to fuck you? What do you need in there? And what do I need, to be satisfied? And we talk about that stuff together, rather than thinking about what porn is and assuming that our partner wants that. Assumption is a crazy thing inside a partnership. It's something that we always have to be aware of. So if I'm looking at porn and I'm assuming that she wants a guy that's like, like hung like a horse, I better ask her if he does or not, you know? Because if I get it in my head, then I'm going to feel like I'm inadequate, then I'm not going to satisfy her and all this stuff, and she's perfectly fine, but we don't know it. So it brings about a good way to talk to each other.
What can be
Mm.
like open gate for this, like, because of course it sounds simple, right? Like many people, it's a big shame to even talk about it, taboo, right? It's special
Yeah.
for the people who have some kind of, even problem, even, the problem with erection, even problem with maybe, other, disease, prostate cancer and everything, which is sometimes it takes, ability to function. But the many, even, women don't know how to act with this, because sometimes, we can be the one maybe who put the first step. Mostly it's happened like this, I believe it. But what it's, it's other side, when the basically, the like, even the, advice for the both of them, like what can be the first step, what they can start talking. And because you, put the nice phrase, like I really like, glad
Uh,
you say on the way how people can use the words, communicate and everything, which is very important, because you can put this as a reality. Yeah, it sucks, but I can be better. Yes, it's like this. So yeah.
there's a couple things that come to mind. So now that I've been dealing with a lot of young people, not a lot, but more than I did before. I'm really hoping to reach a lot of young people. but I get these questions about, young boys being excited and and then having sex 10 seconds and they come and it's over with. What do you do about that? And the quick answer to that is, can you count to two? If you're able to count to two, then the first time that he did it, there's a second time. Relax, enjoy each other, spend some time, do it again. And eventually you do it twice. I mean, a young boy ought to be able to get it up a couple times. But if you're embarrassed and if you're shamed about it, you may not get it up at all. The other side of this thing is that if I have a problem, and this is a lot of men, a lot of men have problems getting an erection. That doesn't mean that you can't please a woman. Doesn't mean that you can't take care of her. Find out what she needs. Find out how to satisfy her. Do that. And she may find out that there's things that are very, very pleasurable to a man, whether he gets really hard or not. There's good things to do to a guy, and so that might be good. But the idea of it being a major problem, and everybody has got to deal with it, and we got to be all embarrassed about it, and all that doesn't make it any better. That
Hmm.
doesn't help out at all.
Yeah.
Just yeah. Listen, I love you. I really think you're beautiful. I know, God, you drive me crazy and everything like that. And I have some problems performing. So that's my side of it. You know, your side of it, how do we take care of you? What do we do? I don't want you to feel like I don't care about you. I don't want you to feel like that at all. So, there's always ways of communicating.
Yeah, and I think it's a big part, which I'm, absolutely 100% sure about this one. The, being a man, it's not connect with the, sexuality. Being a person, it's not connect with the, dick or the vagina and the boobs and everything, which is quite crazy misunderstanding of the where we live right now. It's absolutely, like it's really big, like and sometimes I feel like even saying by someone who have some like some voice on this world, saying things like this, it can help many people. So I'm really glad, like you can reach like many young people, because they living on the world which is absolutely created by the size, the time and the how many girls they can get and everything, which is absolutely crazy, because then you already realize there's people who like absolutely don't care about this one. They don't care about, yeah, about your
Uh-huh.
money, about, but they care about who you are, which is very important. They
Yeah.
care how you communicate with other people. That's, I think, it's the currency what I deal on this life right now.
I think as far as young people are concerned, if I was to tell young people how to meet each other, the first thing that I would tell them is do not worry about whether the person likes you. Worry about whether you like them. Find questions that you need to ask about who this person is, what are they bringing to the table, and find out if you like them first, because you know we spend, and especially with young men, they spend all their time trying to impress a girl, and then they get the girl and she's a pain in the ass. It's like find out what she's made of. Find out, ask the questions. What is she like? Find out if you're going to like spending time with her, and then and because it's her job to decide whether she likes you or not. It's your job is to find out whether you like her. And if you like her, then tell her you like her and tell her why you like her, and all that stuff. If and see what she says,
Mhm.
but find out first.
Yeah, I think it's also about the community and the place where we live. Sometimes we think there's no other people around, and
Yeah.
we accept the average. We have no idea how the things works when they come to us. We meet people we never expect. Like I'm the big, like creation of the universe in my life, like I create the people, I bring you to my life, the same like right now, and this, the things what I want to talk, and it's happened all the time. And I think when we're younger, you don't see this as a, like the possibilities, because you think you're born on this place and you die on this place and you have only few friends and you don't have choice,
Yeah.
which is absolutely not true. Because if you open yourself, if you say no to someone, 1 week later, someone, coming to the city, 5 new people, and they're like, you don't know how, because it's life, it's exists, and I'm big proof about this one all the time. But people accept the
Yeah.
average. They accept someone who don't like, because they think there is nobody else.
Yeah. It's the whole, we're twin flames.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah, that drives me crazy. I met my soulmate. Just 8 billion people on the world in the world, and you just happen to, to be right there together. There we
yeah,
go. Lucky,
yeah,
lucky you.
yeah. It's crazy, like how it works, and I think you experience this as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, people, the attraction, a partnership, relationship. It's all about to be open of energy, and then like to see the possibilities, and and they give what you want, and like you said on the beginning about, you know ask the question, like, about the happiness. And I think it's the very important question, like, what's the price, what I want to give, like, I want to be happy, and like, what we need to do. And also, it's important what you said about the, I always forget this word, it's about prevention. And it's
Uh-huh.
really, really, I think it's important, because we can understand many things, and if we can prepare ourselves, we in the, even on the relationship, like, we know we'll get some misunderstood, misunderstanding, we know we'll be passing like some drama, this one, and we can talk about this one, even if we have already like some experience with our past relationship. It's the perfect field to talk about this one,
Yeah.
but we like don't
Uh,
want to talk about past and everything. I think it should be something what we should put on the table, because it's something what we can learn very easy. Like, oh, I didn't like,
yeah.
oh, this part or this. That's why I can work on this one. But we would expect
And that's
now
what I
something
learned.
new,
Yeah.
and we go to the loop, because we, oh, new partner. So I don't want to talk about my ex. Like, if you talk about your
Yeah.
ex, you bring the same things, because you don't fix anything. That's why you are not with your ex.
It's silly, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's so easy to talk this stuff out and go, why don't we do this? I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
understand. Why don't we do this?
Yes.
So, the most important thing is deciding that you want to be happy. Okay, that's the most important thing. The second most important thing is deciding that you want to be happy. Right? As I
Yeah.
said, yeah, I want to be happy. But the third one is I want a partnership. And it's never I want a partnership with you. It's the first two that I want to be happy and I want a partnership. Okay. That's the most important thing. And then you find somebody. The third thing is you find somebody that wants to be that partner. And you see if that works.
Yep. So
You know?
I have a question from AI for you. So
Okay.
if somehow you don't have any question from the people, just ask AI, so you'll know.
Okay.
But this is basically amazing. Like, this AI, it's amazing. Like, if you know how to use it, can bring a lot of good stuff. And let's see. Hello, good evening. Hello, hello.
Hey there, how's it going?
Yeah, all good. I'm basically on the podcast with Ray, and we talk about the partnership, relationship. Ray, it's a coach who specialize about the partnership and the relationship, about connection with the people, fixing things between them. So, can you give me some good questions, so we can open mind of Ray and many people who can listen us today?
Great topic. Here are some questions that could spark insightful discussions with Ray. 1. What are the most common challenges couples face in modern relationships, and how can they overcome them? How do you help individuals identify and break unhealthy patterns in their relationships? Can you share a success story where your coaching significantly improved a relationship? How can couples maintain a strong connection in the digital age where distractions are everywhere? What role does communication play in resolving conflicts? And what are some effective strategies to improve it? These questions should help you dive deep into Ray's expertise and offer valuable insights to your listeners.
And one more, what's the top 5 things to build a healthy partnership between the people and the relationship between the couple?
Great addition. Here's how you could frame it. What are the top 5 elements essential for building a healthy partnership, whether in a romantic relationship or between people in general? This question should give Ray a chance to outline key principles for strong, healthy relationships.
No, I ask you about this one. What do you think? Give me the 5 answer.
Got it. Here are 5 essential elements for building a healthy partnership. Number 1, communication. Open, honest, and respectful communication helps partners understand each other's needs and resolve conflicts effectively. Number 2, trust. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship. It involves being reliable, keeping promises, and showing faith in each other. Number 3, respect. Valuing each other's opinions, boundaries, and individuality fosters a sense of equality and mutual respect. Number 4, support. Being there for each other through thick and thin strengthens the bond. Encouraging personal growth and being a source of comfort is crucial. Shared goals and values. Having common objectives and principles helps partners align their efforts for the future. These elements are key to nurturing a healthy, lasting partnership.
Thank you, bro.
You're welcome. If you need more help, just let me know.
Okay, thanks. Crazy, huh?
That's amazing. So if your listeners want to know more, they can contact me.
Yes. Or
Yes.
maybe AI contact with you. Like what's the best connection between the AI the humans should build?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's isn't that amazing?
It
Wow.
is amazing. It is amazing, and of course, there's some things about what I'm worried. There's somehow, but at the same time, it can be very useful, like everything. Porn it's not bad if you know how to use. It can bring a lot of fun and everything, right? The alcohol, the drugs, we can always demonize and everything, but it's all about us. Relationships are not bad. If we know how to deal with this, we can have a beautiful life. So I think it's about everything. It's all about how we use them. Not knife can kill, knife can
Yeah.
cut the bread. So I think it's all about us.
Sounds good. Hey, it's been really nice talking to you, huh?
Yeah, thank you so much. Like I think the foundation and your gift, and I think it's a foundation right now. It's a something what what I think many people look outside things and everything, but it still starts from us. It still starts from happiness. I tried like go on the direction
Sure.
of business, this one, but end of the day, it's about to having one person and build a partnership. And I think the word partnership, what you mentioned, because on the beginning, before I thought it's more about relationship, but we know there's different kind of relationships, right? It's even about the
Sure.
even about the couples or like friends with benefits and everything which exist, and it's okay. I'm super fan of any kind of connection and everything if it's between the people.
Yeah.
Like I'm super open. I'm basically like whatever you do, and if it's involve other people, do it more. Like don't
Uh-huh.
stay alone. Be with the people, trying to find a way when you can build the connection, when you build the partnership, when you build partnership, so you can spend more time alone. Like, but it's always involve people. So I think people need you, Ray. People need you.
I hope so. And they better get here soon because
Yeah. So I'm really like we'll be doing clips and the shorts. So it's definitely I'm also not big fan of the numbers, but it's definitely I'll be going deep about this one because for me it's about the building community and the building deeper connection with the people. It's much more important than views and likes and the followers. If you have
yeah,
a one person who asking you question, it's more important than 10,000 likes and nobody ask you anything. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
it's where I want to go. So I'm definitely will be creating groups of the people when we can listen each other, and I think people trust people more if they listen someone podcast. Like it's very hard
Yeah,
for someone to be like fake for 2 hours. Like but on the
yeah.
clips it can be people can talk different things, but on podcast show the reality. That's why I'm big fan, and I'm really really big fan of your Q&A, and I want you to go deeper with this one because it's a real things. And maybe you should also
Thank
try
you.
things connect with that with Twitch or maybe some channel when people can go live because it's also help people to
That's what
to
I,
yeah. So you start doing TikTok already, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just started recently.
Yeah, so I
So,
think on my side, like I can also send you a few advice, few things what you can do because I'm definitely think your things it's a word for sharing, and if it's your life work or side hustle doesn't matter, and I think both can be win-win because I believe we should earn money from our passion, we should earn money from things what we love to do, and I 100% know you love to this, so like
yeah,
for me it's fun and work at the same time, right? Like I can talk with you for hours. For me it's super fun because it's useful. It's also because it's useful. It's not talking,
yeah,
it's not entertaining. We're talking about the real things what people deal with this. Sometimes we know the sad story, and if I know we can talk for 5 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, and some person can say thank you, like there's nothing more beautiful than this, right?
uh-huh. There you go.
Yeah.
Ah,
So thank you so much. You can find link
yeah,
everything here. I'll put you everywhere. Definitely, keep in touch and yeah, and see you soon, Ray.
yeah. Thanks so much,
Thank
Mario.
you so
You take
much.
care and to all your people. Thank you
Yeah.
very much
Thank you so much,
and love
everyone.
you all. Bye now.
Bye bye.